back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Once again, guys, I'm coming to you from my hotel room here in Boston. If you guys didn't see yesterday's show, I'm up here for a few days hanging out with some friends. Been a couple years since I've been here, so freezing my butt up and having a good time. But anyhow, show must go on, so it's here in the hotel. It's been years since I did a video outside the car, so do bear with me with the audio here. And besides, I got a couple Tinderellas coming in an hour, so let's get the show on the road. Kidding. Today, I'm going to go over a story which is titled, Wife of 28 years just now confessed of a one-night stand with a female 25 years ago while engaged to be married. I don't know what to do. And a shout out to Ted for sending in this story. And guys, like the title says, this is about a guy married 25 years ago. He first said 28, but he means 25. And lo and behold, his wife just happened to let him know that 25 years ago, before they got married, she had a one-nighter. And guess what? With another woman. And this guy's whole world's going upside down now. But of course, she's so sorry, willing to do anything, and he wants to know, should he end it? And I thought I'd go over here, guys, once again showing how it's amazing how many skeletons can be in the closet of people in this situation with a wife. And you have to really do your homework before you get that serious, because you just never know. And the big question here in this story is, why now? Why is she telling him after 25 years? Well, we can all debate on that in the back of our minds. Maybe we'll find out an answer in the story here, but it's definitely interesting. But the guy here is hurting. He's early 50s, she's late 40s, and hopefully we can help him. So it starts off, says here, I'm in my early 50s, and I was informed by my wife, a late 40s female, 3 days ago, that she stepped out on our very monogamous relationship to explore her sexuality while we were engaged with another female in a one-night stand. Gee, thanks, honey. Why are you telling me now? 25 years she kept this quiet, guys. The question is, what else is she keeping quiet? I'm just now calm enough to type and ask for advice. Obviously, my first and current reaction is to cut my losses and try to build a new life for the next 2 to 3 decades that I have left on this planet. But of course, as complicated as life is, I need a couple strangers on the internet to help me process this. You know, sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger than a friend, because everybody he's going to talk to in his personal life is going to tell him to stay with her. The backstory here, we met in 1997 when she was my manager. We dated exclusively, at least on my end, for 3 years before I decided to make it official and asked her for her hand in marriage, which of course she said yes. Smack! 3 years? Too soon. And clearly I'm right about that. We both had maybe one exclusive relationship prior, with both of our body counts less than double digits. We had always had very frequent and passionate intimate relationships. Nothing is off the table what we do, and both of us are very unselfish lovers and never had complaints from either on frequency or exploratory nature of our love life. Notice he said a moment ago, I'm sure you guys were like, why didn't I stop there? One exclusive relationship each, but high in the single digits, never touching double digits. That's a lot of one-nighters. And we all know darn well, whatever a woman gives you, triple the number. In fact, nowadays, probably multiply times 7 or 17. Says here, we've always been great in communication and overall never had any big breakdowns or separations in the 28 years of doing life together. I've always considered her my queen. Smack! Never ever do that. No. Unless you're like royalty, don't ever do that. And would do anything for her and brag constantly over the years about how perfect she is and how lucky I am to have her. Smack. He doesn't know any better, but I know he means well. There's my computer making noise. Let me turn this noise off. But if you do that and treat them like the queen, talk like they're the queen, they're going to start thinking they're the queen and treat you like the jester. I'm all for treating your girl well, but getting over the top here, I'm treating her like she's the queen. Bad idea. I am the full-time breadwinner, and she is a stay-at-home mom for all of our 4 beautiful kids during the school years, and she works as much or little as she wants in her dream profession, which brings in about 10 to 20% of our household income. So she needs me financially in order to maintain the lifestyle that her and my kids currently have. Well, there you go. I mean, what a great deal for her. All those years she never had to work. Don't get me wrong. Babies and little kids, that's a lot, and doing all the household stuff. Sounds like she does. And that's great. But still, once those kids go off to school, it's a lot easier. Some would say she has a situation that most females would like to be in. No abuse, no affairs on my end, and bills are paid on time. I'm fit, educated, make over 6 figures. I have no hobbies and no interests other than my wife and kids. That is a bad idea. A man has to have his own interests and hobbies and his bros to hang out with, you know? That will, I mean, a lot of wives who try to pee-whip their husbands want them to be, they claim they want that, to control them, but they don't respect them. Women like guys are attracted to guys that are interesting, that have hobbies and interests and passions, that are trying to make something of themselves. It's the truth. You can't make your whole life about your wife and kids. I can kind of get the kids on some level, but not her. That's a bad idea. It is what it is. Some would say she has a situation that most... I read that part. Now to 3 days ago, we were reminiscing about our graduate school days back in 1999 and 2001. And out of the blue, as we were falling asleep, she said she had something to tell me. I automatically got sick to my stomach. Really? The guy's trying to go to sleep after a tough day's work, and then she has to tell him when he's about to pass out? Thanks, honey. She proceeded to tell me that about 3.5 years into our relationship, 6 months before we were walking down the aisle, she was out with 4 of her other girlfriends at a bar one night, and the eventual affair partner asked them all to her place to smoke a bowl and drink a little more since the bar was closing down. Here we go. Blame it on the pot, blame it on the booze. It's already something to put it on. All the others declined as it was late night, but she decided to go. His wife decided to go, and 30 minutes later, she was going at it and had a one-night stand with her. She had, according to her, never been with a woman and knew since she was getting married, this was her only opportunity to see if she was indeed straight and wanted to make sure she indeed liked men and could live the rest of her days with only a man as a partner sexually, so she says. What a load of crap. Okay, us guys here don't need to have a you-know-what up our asses to be able to tell if we like women or like men. We know whether we like women or like men. So that she has to experience another woman to be able to tell, that's a lie. Not buying it. In her admission to me, she was very forthcoming, and she told the affair partner that she had never been with a woman. The affair partner was one of these few girls she knew plus she knew the affair partner had said to others that she was attracted to my wife. And since she was getting married, asked the affair partner if she would be her first experience, as it was now or never in her mind, and alcohol was involved, so inhibitions were lowered. Had to mention the alcohol. That Hobag Handbook Chapter 4, that's the out. I was drunk. The affair partner even asked her if she was sure she wanted to do this. My fiancé at the time said yes, and they started making out. She said they took turns pleasing each other, and my wife said within 10 minutes of pleasing her, she realized she was indeed straight, and this was not for her. Not buying it. And here's the thing. Remember, this is 25 years she's carrying this around. Why now? Why is she saying this after all this time? And how do we know this was the only time? And how do we know this wasn't a lie and this was actually a dude? And how do we know those kids are his? And how do we know that all these questions we have? I mean, seriously, he has to be asking this because I am. I mean, what a mess. And their whole foundation of their marriage is a sham, a lie. You know, it is a disgrace. Obviously, if she would have told him, the likelihood is he would have walked away. I don't know. Within 30 minutes of her little fling, she wrapped up, begged the affair partner to keep it quiet, and came home to me. Came home. We were not living together at the time, so I had no clue what transpired. This was in the 90s, so no cell phones, trackers, etc. Just one's word that is all you had. The affair partner moved away that year, and we haven't heard from her since. We got married, had a great life, and moved forward. Notice he said we haven't heard from her since. So this dude knew her. At the time of her disclosure of all this information to me, I was completely dumbfounded. Needless to say, this shook me to the core. I know lots of men would love to see their woman wanting to be with a female, And the person I was 25 years ago would have loved it too. Probably would have condoned it and requested that I could get to watch a video of said incident. Hear that? Younger him kind of would like that. That's why I think it's a possibility this is a bunch of nonsense and she was fooling around with the dude. It's possible. But therein lies the kicker. I wasn't ever given the opportunity or allowed to even know that the woman I blindly married and created a life with had been unfaithful until 25 years later. She kept it hidden from me, and the wonderful life we worked so hard for is now shaken and tested more than I ever fathomed. I've done enough research to know that I have two options: stay and work, or divorce. And that is what I need your help in contemplating. Well, I'm going to say it right now, get rid of her. Since D-Day, I've been consuming everything available about what to do in this instance. Most experts say I have two choices: stay or leave. It's not that easy, unfortunately, due to the fact that I have both 27 years of an otherwise perfect marriage, in addition to 4 beautiful children. That's the tough part. 4 kids. I don't know how old the kids are, but I'm guessing some are in their 20s, some in their teens, who knows. But yeah, but he's got to do his best for him. We have taken the professional advice and not told them or our families as of yet, until we know for a fact that I'm going to leave to avoid trauma for them, and believe it or not, don't want to lose her face in case I do stay. Lose her in case I do stay. I don't know what to do. Any thoughts? Come on, bro. I think you know what to do. In the day since D-Day, we have done some things that experts recommend. Number 1, we have started marriage counseling. 2, my wife has written a letter to me, a complete letter of admission. I think I wouldn't buy that. And 3, now listen to this one. This is something you don't hear very often. 3, we have her taking a polygraph to indeed confirm her claims for this instance is the first and only time she was unfaithful. I will let you know how that turns out. She eagerly found a place that does them and scheduled an appointment, which makes me feel better. No. No, 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 no. She shouldn't be the one finding the place for the polygraph test. You should, and you should handle that completely. How do you know she's not going to find a place and bribe the administrator, whoever that is, to do it, $5,000 in cash, his money, to lie about the results? Think about it. No, he should be the one picking that place out. My wife is remorseful, and you can tell in her eagerness to do whatever I require to make it right, as both of our worlds are crumbling. Like what? Like have a threesome with a hot young babe? She's also writing a letter to her 23-year-old self to explain the consequences of the actions that she's in the car driving to do, and telling her the great life she's about to blow up. Well, that's stupid. This is recommended by another therapist and is seeming helpful and therapeutic to our processing the action. Okay, whatever. So to summarize, I am devastated. Does this pass? I know it was a female and not a dude, but I don't feel any better about her hiding her transgression regardless of the sex of the affair partner. I also realize that we weren't married yet, but she did have a ring on her finger. She agreed to be my wife and live an exclusive life with me, and only me at the time of the one-night stand. Right, she was engaged, and I wouldn't be so convinced at being only a chick. It could have been a dude. You don't know. Your whole foundation of your marriage is built on a lie. And that is unbelievably selfish of her. Maybe this guy would have forgiven her, I don't know, and still married her anyway. I wouldn't have. But, you know, how do you know for 25 years there hasn't been any rolls in the hay with other women or other dudes? And back to the question about the kids. I hope the kids are his. Am I crazy to be contemplating divorce? No. I was denied my agency to determine if I want to accept the affair and live an honest life knowing who I married. At 50 years old, with 4 kids, and a life that was built on a lie of loyalty and fidelity, I'm having trouble moving forward. Am I wrong to be upset and contemplate divorce for the affair, and most importantly be lying by omission for 25 years? Reddit family, what would you do? Any advice would be to help this troubled soul? Thank you so much, and I apologize for the length. Well, guys, I know what you guys would do. I know what I would do. But again, it's up to him. Personally, I would end it. 25 years of a whole lie. That's unforgivable. And why is she telling him now? Maybe she just had a building up all those years. It felt like she had to tell him. That's nice. Okay. But still. Or maybe she actually wants out. And she tells him, knows how he's going to react. And then he's seen as the bad guy, the one ending the marriage. You have to think that way. Or maybe she's bored and wants drama, because guess what? They like drama. But ultimately, he's going to have to do some thinking. No matter what he does, he should talk to a lawyer and find out all his options. But if he's been the sole breadwinner all these years, if the kids are all legal adults, I don't know how old the kids are, hopefully the kids are all legal adults, not where there's no more child support, or any child support. But regardless, if he's always been the breadwinner, she's getting a hefty alimony, and probably the house. But it's a better deal to be apart, in my opinion, than to be with someone you're never going to trust again. That's up to him. But we will definitely see as time goes on. But certainly get a different person administering the polygraph test that he picks out, not her. But remember, guys, 25 years. This is why you got to do your homework. You need to hire a detective nowadays to really find out everything. Otherwise, you never know. And she didn't care about that. You think if the situation was reversed and he admitted that I'm not going to say him with a dude, but with a chick, you don't think she'd be pissed? Really? Knowing full well she'd make out like a bandit in divorce? So there you go. But anyhow, guys, there you go. It's a crazy one. Now I'm going to read a few comments here to wrap this up. One guy says, "You're welcome to round 1 of Trickle Truth. She was hoping the confession, this little piece of information, as an isolated one-time pre-marriage thing, would be enough to alleviate her guilt, and she could do it in a way that this wouldn't bring up more questions. The polygraph isn't going to work like you think it is. Also, you let her find the polygraph place, ? In the end, your best case scenario is that you find out you have a wife who is more than capable of cheating, and while he only physically betrayed you once, was fine lying to you about it for decades. The worst part is she's pretty confident you aren't going to leave, and if you don't, you're going to feel like you're telling her cheating isn't a deal breaker for you." Yeah, I totally agree. Another guy says, "You're sorry, OP, you're being played like this by the love of your life is a terrible blow. She has tested that she could replace you sexually by a woman, then deceived you into marriage and kids. Huge disrespect and unloving." And the final comment says, "She sounds remorseful, willing to do the work, but unfortunately doesn't take away the quarter-century deception. Take some space for you to heal, so you can make decisions with a clear head, maybe somewhere else for a few weeks." But anyhow, guys, there you go. That's going to wrap it up. And I'll keep an eye out to see if there's any updates here. And if you guys see any updates, let me know. But yeah, guys, you got to do your homework. And there are gals out there that are more than happy to keep things quiet and let you marry him and all that. It's just is not cool. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.